Hi guys, welcome to Bible Breakdown. We're doing Isaiah chapter 56. The start of this chapter is titled A House of Prayer for All. For verses 1 and 2, I wrote, "This is a reminder to stay true to obedience and doing the right thing even through low times in life." From what I understand, the Lord is talking to people that's kind of lost hope and kind of given up on doing what is right. So he's telling them, stay away from evil and stay true to what you know because salvation is coming soon. And this is a great point to make because I know sometimes when our thoughts get low, we get desperate, and that's not always the best thing. Moving on to verses 3 to 8, I wrote that the Lord is inclusive and allows all people to work towards his salvation and eventually finding their home in his presence. I also wrote that regardless of who you are or where you come from, obedience to the Lord will bring you very far. So for this, I want to highlight three different things. I want to highlight the beginning of verse 3 and then verse 6 and verse 7. So the beginning of verse 3 says, "No foreigner who has joined himself to the Lord should say, 'The Lord will exclude me from his people.'" So God is saying, don't single yourself out just because of your background or just because of where you come from. And the reasoning to that is in verse 6 and 7. So it says, "As for the foreigners who join themselves to the Lord to minister to him, to love the name of the Lord, and to become his servant, all who keep the Sabbath without desecrating it and who hold firmly to my covenant, I will bring them to my holy mountain and let them rejoice in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and sacrifices will be acceptable on my altar, for my house will be called a house of prayer for all nations." That is so welcoming. God is just opening his arms to everyone, saying, you are welcome here. Just be obedient, but you are welcome here. Now continuing on, the rest of the chapter is titled Unrighteous Leaders Condemned. And for this, from verse 9 to 12, which is the rest, I wrote, "These unrighteous leaders are condemned due to their spiritual blindness and greed. Their duties of being watchmen are unfulfilled because they only look out for themselves and not to serve others." So for this, verse 10 highlights the spiritual blindness by calling them blind, and not only blind, it also calls them mute dogs. They don't know nothing, they can't see nothing, they can't do nothing. All they do is lie down and dream and sleep. And that's it. And they also love to eat. So in verse 11, it says, "These dogs have fierce appetites. They never have enough. And they are shepherds who have no discernment. All of them turn to their own way, every last one for his own profit." So right there is what shows all the different things that I was talking about. The biggest thing was, "And they are shepherds who have no discernment." So how are you going to lead people, but you don't even know what to base your teachings off of? And on top of that, they do things for themselves. And at the end, it says every last one of them for his own profit. They do things without factoring other people. After reading this chapter, I came to the conclusion that our own discernment is very important because it will steer us away from leaders like this, leaders that are feeding off of us instead of helping us. Our end goal is to follow God, so it's why not go to the source? Yes, fellowship is very important, but you gotta really be careful on who you listen to and what you're following. But with that being said, that is all I have for you guys. That is the end of this chapter, and I will see you tomorrow for Isaiah chapter 57. I love y'all. God loves y'all more. Have a great night.